Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in for another episode of the Eavesdropping Houseguests. I'm Jess.
Welcome back to Big Brother.
Let's go. So yeah, that's Matt, and I'm Jesse. And yeah, let's
Yeah,
get into it. This
let's
is
go.
episode number 2 now, so we're really every episode's just gonna be getting so much better. By episode 10, it'll be the best
Yeah,
podcast out
we
there.
might be in person by episode 10. You
There
know,
we go. Yeah.
because we're going to be famous and we're going to quit our day jobs.
By the way, that's something we should talk about. Or really quickly, just say like Matt lives in New Jersey and I'm in
Yeah,
Illinois. So like
yeah,
think about how we're bringing this podcast nationwide.
yeah. And we're reaching so many different states.
Exactly. And we wouldn't have been able to do that if I wasn't in Illinois and you
Yeah,
were in New Jersey.
yeah. Like we could have both been in New Jersey. Kind of lame.
Lame. No, actually,
No, not lame.
yeah.
Come back,
I wish
please.
I was in Jersey. Okay.
Anyway, Big Brother.
Big
There's
brother.
yeah, there's been about 2 weeks so far. It must be so sick to live for 2 weeks in the Big Brother house.
I think back on like 1 week of vacation and like I'm like 1 week in the house would be sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, like and it's so funny because like you go 2 weeks with these people and you already see them like every time when someone's leaving, it's like I love you
I
so
love you.
much. I
Yeah.
have so much love for you.
But you don't.
Yeah.
You don't even know that person's middle name.
Yeah, by week 4, you're gonna hate that person. So you're
Yeah.
gonna forget that person even existed.
Real,
Uh,
real quick. Did you see what Luke said?
Oh, I saw a little clip, but I didn't watch the whole thing because I honestly like it almost seemed like he was like they're out to get me or something, or they're
It
watching.
was, yeah, it was something like that. He was blaming like the lack of sleep.
Mm,
He
okay.
was
I
like,
don't
yeah, like,
know.
with like malnutrition.
That's a tough one when everyone in the house is doing the same thing as you.
Yeah.
uh
Wait,
yeah.
I have the quote. He said, I had no ill intent. It was directed at Corey, and it was after about a week of malnutrition, a week of sleep deprivation, and I was probably 2.5 hours of sleep on that cheese block, he said. And you don't really take into account the psychological distress of being under studio lighting for 24/7 and not knowing who your friends are and who your enemies are.
Okay. Okay. A simple I probably shouldn't have said that and I'll never say it again would have been good, but that's
And,
okay.
and then he said, so what happened happened. Do I regret it? Obviously, but I feel like it happened for a reason.
Oh, so you could get kicked out of the house.
Yeah,
That
okay.
was a good reason.
So you could
Uh,
not not
it
win
would have
Big
been
Brother.
some if funny if he was like, I really wanted to save Kirsten, and I felt the only way for Kirsten to be saved was if I self evict, and then she
Wow.
sticks around. Yeah. Ah,
Rough.
I almost forgot about Luke actually.
Yeah.
Um,
I probably never think about him really ever again.
yeah. Yeah. So this was an interesting week. I don't know where you want to begin. Um, other than
Uh I really liked so we left off with the portal in the backyard.
there we go. Yeah. Uh,
Weird.
I don't know how I feel about all the theme and the twists like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like such a they did the most for just a regular HOH where you just
Yeah.
guess or like you're
What
trying to be strategic.
what was pretty cool was seeing them in like this like was that wasn't the backyard, right?
No, no, and the
Like
way
where did they go for that?
and then they pretend like the door opens up right into the HOH room,
Yeah.
and I just was like, did it? Like,
Yeah.
I
No.
don't know. Yeah,
I don't think so.
yeah,
So some of the editing is pretty funny. Like whenever somebody goes
yeah.
the
They just
bed and they just
disappear.
disappear.
Or they like just reappear there. Then they walk into the house and everybody's
Yeah.
like, sitting there. Like they definitely were like, okay. everybody go to the living room. We're gonna have Corey come out now.
Yeah, he's gonna walk up the stairs, go into the room, lay down, and then he's gonna go back downstairs.
Yeah, and it's always that one bed, that one middle bed of
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
scary room. But the
Does
dude,
somebody
that
actually sleep there?
I
Is
guess
that someone's bed that everybody's just laying on?
I think it popped out when um whoever was the first person to go, Corey was the first person to go. So yeah,
Yeah.
like the whole bed came out. So I assume someone's sleeping there, but yeah, I mean the dude was pretty scary, that villain, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. No, I was so that was one of the first things that I want to talk about with the head of household. It was a pretty scary competition. Like that's
Yeah.
that's like a real life horror movie type stuff.
Exactly. You got the chainsaws all hanging
Yeah.
there.
It's like the commercial. It's like, oh, like let's go get in the running car. It's like, no, let's go find the chainsaws.
Exactly. That's the first thing I thought of. Yeah.
It was so the one thing was also like they're getting clues, right? From like hearing of this is a good spot to hide, this is a good spot to hide, this is a good spot to hide. Matt is deaf.
Ooh.
Was there somebody like behind the camera that was doing sign language, or like
Well,
can he
I've
hear that
never,
well?
dude, I've never seen him even talk about sign language.
Yeah.
Like I've never even seen him be like, "Yo, guys, do you want to learn how to do sign language?" Like I
Yeah.
wonder if he even like does sign language.
Yeah, I feel like he probably does like at home, and it's just too
Yeah,
much right now to try and teach a bunch of people. But like
yeah,
I feel like there has to be some like communicator that can help
yeah,
him.
yeah. I wonder if it was the type of thing where it's like, "Hey, we're gonna put you in this house, but we're not gonna change any of the rules." You know, like when somebody
Yeah.
breaks their foot, or like this is completely different, but like someone breaks their foot though, they can't really compete in the physical competitions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that is a good point. Like he
Like
just
Jasmine last year.
you miss one thing. Yeah, right. You miss one thing. That's so funny. We should have had a podcast during that.
Did you know that she had it was her birthday last night?
No way.
Yeah, I follow Alyssa on Instagram,
Okay.
and so they had like a big bash. It was
Wow.
like Taylor, Alyssa, um, what was
Who
his
do you
name?
follow
The
from last?
mustache dude with the long hair that always hated Jasmine. Turner.
Okay.
Yeah, he was
Whoa.
there.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was sick.
That's crazy. That's so funny. That Turner and Jasmine's beef last week was hilarious.
Every diary room that Turner did, it was like I can't stand Jasmine.
Yeah. Wait, what's Alyssa's Instagram?
Alyssa Nida. Nida. All right.
Mike's
Anyway,
okay. Yeah,
so
so
Matt in the head of household, being deaf, was he at a disadvantage? Like not being able to completely hear the clues? Although, I mean, I feel like he made it farther than others, but did that hold him back?
yeah, I mean, I think it really just comes down to, like, of course it was probably a disadvantage, but I think, like in a strength competition, nothing against Felicia, but like she would be at a disadvantage. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah,
I feel like
sure.
there's like I'm sure for Matt, there's probably stuff he's better than people in the house at, and there's
Yeah,
probably stuff that he's gonna be worse than people in the house at.
yeah,
But I do wonder how much conversation that was with Matt prior to being like, hey, there are competitions, where you're gonna have to hear
yeah.
like that might
Like
be
the power veto competition that we'll get into.
yeah, exactly. It is always funny when you have the scene or well you talked. What did you think about it? Like, do you think it's a disadvantage, advantage, whatever?
I mean, I would like to know how much or how little like he can hear. Because like
Mhm.
if he was only getting bits and pieces from the Demogorgon, then it's like or the Nether Gorgon, that's total ripoff off Stranger Things, right?
Yeah,
But like if he's only getting bits and pieces and he just has to like try and like pick Jag and follow Jag, like he's gonna be at a disadvantage.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I feel like we're probably gonna be taught every week. It's gonna be like, how much does
Yeah.
Matt know? Like,
Yeah.
how much
Yeah.
does Matt hear?
Yeah.
But I mean, he's doing fine so far. Um,
Yeah.
fine. I'll say fine because he's just like he's clearly a threat, but
Yeah.
he's not like people aren't like, oh my gosh, we got to get Matt out. It's more like, hey, we probably don't need Matt around. Let's vote him out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm sure
Yeah.
Hisam's like, hey, we don't need to wait for Matt to become a threat. We get into it, but like later. But yeah, he's okay. He
Yeah.
his side of the house is clearly losing right now.
Yeah. The end of the head household was very like intense because it
Yeah,
was like the two sides of the house. It would have been really interesting if Jared had won
yeah.
because like who is he going to put up considering
Mhm.
his mom is on the one side of the house and his alliance is on the other. But we all know that Isom ended up winning.
And you texted me, I think, like the day before, being like, "I think Jared's gonna win," and I was like, "Yo, he might win."
It would have been sick.
But yeah, and
Huge misplay.
he wanted to know what he was doing. Yeah, that's so funny. Nothing's funnier
Huge
than
misplay by Jared.
that. I know. Let's go search.
This man
Go.
saw one number 4, pick the house that like they both had number 4 on it. I don't know why he immediately went to that one and then is celebrating on the porch like he won.
Yeah,
Like, bro.
dude. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And Hisam's a smart dude for like looking at every single like he even though he was the second one there and he had to just go to which one. And we'll get
Yeah.
into it with the veto, like how he approached the veto too. But like dude is a like he is very just strategically smart when it doesn't
He's
involve other people's opinions of
yeah.
him.
He's reminding me a lot like Michael. Except like from like a competition standpoint. Like this man is an absolute beast.
Mhm.
But where he lacks is the social awareness.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, like, we can talk about it right now because we're talking about his HOH win, but I've never seen, I don't think, someone take such a crazy 180 in Big Brother. And, you know, I saw it in like episode 5, like kind of when or like a little bit in episode 5 when he wins HOH, but really in episode 6 when like
Yeah.
or the Wednesday episode when he's
Yeah.
like just flaunting to everybody that he's like this like
Yeah.
he knows what's up and what he's gonna say is goes. And like it's one thing for like the fans. Like I would go on Twitter afterwards and everybody's kind of like on the same page where it's like we loved
Yeah.
Tyson or thought he was cool and now we don't like him.
Yeah.
But it's another thing when the house guests realize it too. And we saw
Yeah.
in the most recent episode where it
Yeah.
was just like people don't like him. And it's crazy too, because it's like an HOH, like he said on when he won HOH and was like, these are the 2 people I nominate, and these are the people like I want to go home. He then says, like, is this what winning Big Brother feels like? And it's like,
Yeah.
this is
Bro.
this is
Bro.
week 2,
Yeah.
and you're now the number 1 target.
How to
So
lose Big Brother in 2 episodes.
exactly, bro, it's crazy. He was like this fun dude who was like, you almost were just like, oh,
Yeah.
someone like I was
Yeah.
like, is he gonna have any strategy? Like I feel like that was the one thing I knocked him for was like, how will he, because he just seems like a guy who's just like there to have fun with everyone.
Yeah. I mean, like he has the tools, like being smart, like as a surgeon, and he's a fun guy. I mean, he's like a night dancer
Mm-hmm.
and comp beast. Like he has the pieces, but he just like tanked his social game.
Dude, like the conversation in the most recent episode with him and that house guests and or him and the professors, I mean,
Yeah.
just like the way like it was one thing for Big Brother to portray it the way they did. It was another thing for Izzy to and Siri to immediately then have a conversation about how much.
Yeah. I mean, it seemed like Mimi was trying to talk and he just cut her off and was like no.
Yeah.
Like that,
Yeah.
it's like, bro.
Exactly. Like give Nicole her one shot on camera, bro. Like
Yeah, she had the one diary room in Thursday's episode. I'm pretty sure that was the only time they've ever showed her in the diary
that
room.
was it. I was like, when they had that
Maybe she
when
just doesn't go.
no, they definitely I think they all have to go every day or like every week, like once a week or something like that. But like even when like they're talking to her and like like Izzy and Siri are talking about,
Yeah.
like, yo, we got to go for Hisam. Like, and she gives a reaction. I was like, I actually have no idea how Nicole's gonna respond here. Like, I
Yeah.
have no idea where her head's at. Like, if she's
Yeah.
like, yeah. But yeah,
Oh,
Hisam, bro,
you got
don't be a jerk, bro. Like, you're so
yeah.
condescending. Like we,
Yeah.
like, you literally had to do no work to get Reilly out because
Yeah.
she's such a threat. And
Yeah.
he was just like,
He
yeah.
was like literally talking down to her in Wednesday's episode.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy because that's like the one thing that like you think you get with the professors, like, okay, they don't have an ego, they're all older people, where it's like, okay, they should be able to work together really well, but
Yeah.
the whole problem is that they think they're legitimately smarter than the younger people, and that's just not the case, really.
Yeah. In Sunday's episode, I wanted to so we talked about the Jared misplay and that led to Heisem winning it. Um Jared then was able to went into the nether region, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he had the power when he came back to send someone uh into the nether region and they would be safe for the week. They can't participate in the power veto and they can't get put up for nomination. Reilly was like this kind of like rubbed me the wrong way when Reilly was like begging him to like
Yeah.
please use it on me, please, like you owe me, please. And
Yeah.
like Jared probably should have used it on her, but like he was in such a difficult spot. Like he still like him putting Jag in there still rubbed Heisem the wrong way, and it still led to Reilly going home. So it was like
Totally.
that's two pretty big misplays by Jared.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, totally. Like the only thing I can look to for Jared not putting Reilly up is that, like, okay, if she goes home, or if she is safe on your watch, a lot of the house now want to get out Reilly and Jared. You know what I mean? Like it was totally like he chose the wrong one for his own alliance if you're talking about him with the younger group, but I don't really know who he's with. Like I feel like
Yeah.
if his group wants to go one way and see his mom wants to go a different way, he'll go with his mom. So like
Yeah.
I don't really know if it was a terrible move, but it was weird how like he came out of it and both sides are upset with him. Like
Yeah.
even Jag was upset. Like it was like,
Yeah.
dude, you didn't need to save me. I was gonna
Yeah.
be safe anyways.
Yeah.
But like, is it wrong that he didn't go against Riley? Because like, I don't know. You know, maybe Heisem doesn't look like that big of a like the number two threat. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
It's
like that was an interesting move. That was an interesting like thing that Jared had to do because like
yeah.
he it was almost like I wanted him to we were talking about this, but like we want him to win HOH to see which way he
Yeah.
goes to this house. But like that was a really cool sneak peek into like, okay, he's just gonna cop out and do nothing.
It might be smart for him to not win anything. Like let
Mm-hmm.
go under the radar because he's protected by the young guys on the one side of the house, and Siri and Felicia will not put him up on the other side.
100%. And Izzy too. Like even Izzy in the most recent episode when Hisam said something, Izzy went to Siri. I don't know if she's just trying to get brownie points from Siri, but she was just like, I even felt like I had to protect her. What'd you say?
That I wouldn't put it past her.
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like that's just like her game for a while. It's just like every day she's like, I think I'm best friends with Siri.
Yeah. It's like no, like Siri probably doesn't like her just because she's holding the knowledge over her
Yeah,
head.
yeah. Every time it's Siri's like, oh, this bitch again.
Yeah.
They're the
So
bad bitches though, so it's okay.
so
They're the
Riley,
bye bitches, bye bitches.
yeah, I love that alliance name.
Yeah, for sure.
Riley and Cameron are up for nomination. But did you see the part where Reilly and Matt were like hanging out and like on
Mhm.
the what's that the swing thing called?
The hammock.
Hammock.
Yeah.
I wrote down in my notes was like Reilly likes guys named Matt.
Dude, I know you saved that audio when she's like, I really like you, Matt.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, dude. I on like you knew it's so cringy though when you have so many people who in the house feel a type of way about like the same okay, so Jag and Reilly's relationship is completely different than Matt and Reilly's relationship. But I just couldn't get over the fact that like Reilly had a final two with Jag. They are like besties of all time, but Matt also thinks that he's closest with Reilly. And that's one thing I wanted Reilly to stay in the house for, to see who she would align with more, Jag or Matt, if the going gets tough. I don't think she would have to decide for a while, but like it is like both of these guys are, I feel like, gonna look back at it like being like, oh yeah, at the time Reilly was my closest, and Reilly was like maybe playing both of them. I don't know. She probably was with Jag, I'd assume.
Yeah, but
she can have a showmance with she can have a showmance with Matt and also have Jag as her final two. I just don't think that works out ever, but that's possible.
the one thing with Matt though is like he's been saying like I relied on Reilly for like information. Like he has been like going to other people and like finding out these things himself. Like Reilly has been like sharing everything to him. So like is Matt now like gonna be like on the outskirts of the house, like because he's not gonna like play the game?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is he's just such a good competitor that like him and Jag and Cameron, are they the most athletic guys on their side?
Yeah.
Corey, I mean, I Jared too. I don't know where Jared, but like what I'm saying is like they really need Matt in a lot of competitions. You know, if it's a strength competition or if it's some type of physical, like Matt might be their best bet.
Yeah.
I don't think Matt is like out of the house at all. I do think he's in a tough spot right now.
Yeah. Because Reilly went home.
Yeah. Yeah.
The power veto competition was won by Hisam. And like that was like worst case scenario.
Yeah. It was crazy how he beat everybody and everyone else was against him.
Yeah. And they made it seem like Hisam had the fastest time, but then Reilly was also like fast. So it's like, all right, this is probably gonna come down to them too. And Reilly wasn't even in the top three.
Yeah, right. It was interesting how they like did that. Like usually they always just do every single person's time, and for this they just showed that the top three. I was like, oh, what kind of suspense are they trying to?
Had a really time, and it was like, yeah, let's not show.
Yeah, like the second like Reilly comes in last, and we just know she didn't win. Like they're like, people won't like this, but yeah. So that was a really big eye opener for Hisam, where it was like nobody can stop this dude if he's competing.
Yeah,
like he's won 3 of the competitions so far. 3 of the 4.
Yeah,
like he won the first veto, the second veto, and HOH.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's on a Michael pace.
Yeah, and if he wasn't such a jerk, what he says makes sense, where he's like, hey guys, you got to keep in mind, like I'm becoming a threat right now, like maybe we need somebody else to win. And it's not like they're not trying to win, of course, but it is the type of thing where it's like, hey, like I might literally have to throw it next week because I can't have this blood on my hands. The thing is though, like he just comes across as, it's like, I don't know.
And so now we've had 2 HOHs so far, and like I'm on the side of, I don't think winning the first head of household is a bad move. Like I think like if you can win the first head of household, you should. I just think Reilly like shouldn't have been saying like her next targets are going to be this. Like when you win first head of household, I think you just have to lay as low as possible, gather as much information as you can, put 2 people up that you're like, oh, like we just haven't been able to get close. Say you don't care who goes home, and then move on. Don't say like we're going for this person next, and then we're going to do this, because you don't have the head of household next week. And so now that led to Hisam winning it, gunning for Reilly, but now he's doing the same thing that Reilly's doing. Like he told her like, yeah, you just didn't play it well, but he is doing the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Like none of these people got to be a head of household.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like I'm very much on the train of you don't win first HOH, but you don't win first HOH like they did. Like that and it's so easy when I guess in past seasons, a lot of times it's just a unanimous first vote where everybody's okay with this person going home. So it doesn't really get blood on your hands. But I just personally think that like you have such a possibility of annoying more than like 3 people in the house with however you vote. And so then the idea of having 2 people so against you, like it already when the game starts, like if you don't win HOH and you kind of are safe that week, you legitimately have no one really going against you for any reason unless you're like a jerk, personality wise. But if you can like socially be fine, I personally just wouldn't win HOH. But it is like, of course, I guess that's just like me thinking like it's easier to create it's not that hard to create relationships. You know what I mean? Like, of course, winning HOH, you get a ton of time to talk to a bunch of people, and like people are almost like begging to be your friend. But like I feel like for me, like I almost want to see who would be my friend anyways.
More natural.
Yeah. But you're all right. Like I'll probably always be against winning HOH first, but it's not, there are a way of going about it. Totally. And they're not. It's so like Hisam's got to look back at this and has a crazy reality check when everything he's talking about he's doing. Like, you not notice this? Like, you are such a different person. I can't get over it. The entire podcast talking about how much I can't stand this man.
Yeah. Like Corey was like at the bottom for me, but like he's been climbing like a little bit. Hisam is
totally 100%. Yeah, I actually respect where Corey is right now in the house. Like, I think when we get into predictions towards the end of the episode, I think Corey's going to be a big part of a new alliance that might form.
And that's one of the like really interesting things. Like, I don't know if we're done talking about Wednesday or Thursday episodes, but like moving forward, now that Reilly's gone and now that Hisam has stirred up the pot with professors and they don't really like necessarily want to work together, like the young people like lost their leader. It's like, are the house just gonna go into like this big like heebie-jeebie? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's almost what Hisam was going for, I guess, like in his like speech, remember, with the veto speech. And I think we should just talk about that really quickly. Or just at least like there's some parts in episode 6, but to really quickly just continue what you were saying. That's what I feel like Hisam was going for, right? Like, hey, now that Reilly's gone, we don't have to be a split house. We can all come together and be friends. But yeah, dude, Corey was smart for telling. I thought he wasn't smart at first for telling Siri and what America said, but it ended up being really smart, I think, because like that can come back to America, and I don't think she would be necessarily that upset with Corey about that. But I think it'll just. What'd you say?
He told him not to tell anyone.
Yeah, and I think like in her head though, like that. She thinks it'll come back to bite her, but I don't think it would.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think in her head, she's like, oh my gosh, the whole house is going to be against me if I'm talking about. But I think if that comes to like light, no one's going to be like, America, you were the person in the wrong here, But so when Jag comes back, he then has to send someone else to the nether region. And this person can't get picked for the power of veto game, right?
Yeah.
And now at this point, Jag can he be nominated as a replacement nom?
No.
Okay, so he's just he's definitely free. Okay. Okay, yeah. I think in the power of veto meeting, like Hisam started with that. Like, Jag, I can't nominate you.
Yeah.
I wonder how much I want to just point this out because I really gave Bowie Jane a really hard time last week, and I still don't think that she's that great at the game. But if it was her idea to like tell Jag she would do it so Red wouldn't go up, that is a pretty sick move.
Yeah. That was an underrated like okay, Bowie Jane. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder how much of a collective group that was because we didn't see that conversation. We just heard Bowie Jane say that. And when she said that, I was just like, all right, let me write this down. This
Yeah.
is Bowie Jane. Nice job.
Yeah. And it was actually like so funny. Like when Hisam was like, all right, anybody but Matt. And then Matt obviously ends up getting picked. And then like America's picked and Blue. And it was like it was like literally all the young people and Hisam, and he ends up winning. Like, bro.
And it goes to a shot of Hisam every time, just with the fake laugh, like, oh yes, yes.
Oh wow. The great congratulations, Blue.
Yeah. That was so because like I'm kind of like I think most people maybe are against Tyson at that point. So it's like, let's go.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna see something happen. Even
I
though I don't really know what was gonna happen. Like I was almost interested to see how they would move forward. Because let's say Blue saves it Reilly, someone else in their alliance is 100% going up.
true.
Yeah. And
So to say if Blue won, took Reilly off, um Hisam wouldn't be able to put Blue up because she won the power veto.
yeah, she won power veto, so she couldn't go. So
Yeah.
it would probably be like who knows, maybe Jared gets nominated, like something like that,
Oh wow.
right? Um,
I wish this week went differently.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
such
One
a
thing I also got to give kudos to is Cameron because he was like the first person who I've ever seen probably like be like, I'm on the block. I know I'm not the target. I'm gonna just lay low and be cool with everybody and actually do that. Like he
yeah,
didn't do anything where it was like, I'm getting paranoid. I'm going home. You know what I mean?
like just
Really
trust
stayed
right.
calm. Yeah. I guess it makes sense too, because like it wasn't even like Reilly was just like this person who was gunning for Hisam. She was also a really good threat, like
Yeah.
competition threat, like everything, you know. So he even when the worst gets the worst, it's like you guys are gonna vote me over Reilly. Like, come on now. Like, what am I gonna do?
And that was like the most frustrating part about the Thursday episode was that like the entire time they're making it out like, oh, Hisam's wronged all of us. Let's maybe switch this vote. But like looking at it from a general view, like if Hisam didn't like go off on his tangent, like taking out Riley is clearly the best move.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, it adds to Hisam's dumbness.
yeah,
I'd like to also just like I gotta just continue to vent about this, but the last 2 weeks of Big Brother have been spoiled for me on eviction night. Like I'm in the newsroom. I look out of the corner of my eye and I see Reilly talking to Julie Chen, and I'm like, bro. And
tell
then I saw.
off.
Wait, what'd you say?
Tell them to like turn CBS off on.
The problem is that like the entire newsroom needs to watch everybody in case that person has like a breaking news story, or they also like to just see like how they put the show together, like compared to us, because a lot of times it's similar stories, but like you want to see what's going on. So it's like, and right after the Big Brother is the news. So
Yeah,
um, and that was almost the worst part too, is that it was right before I went on air, so I saw Reilly sit down and I was like, wow. So they're gonna go the entire episode of talking about this and hyping this up. I really missed out.
it was so frustrating, and like I woke up this morning. That was the first thing I did. It was like I need to find out who went home.
Mhm.
They string me along. They're giving me hope. I'm like, oh, I'm pulling on the ladder, trying to go up. Like, oh, maybe Riley won't go home.
Yeah. I'm like, what if what I saw wasn't real?
Yeah. And
Oh.
they did it so that Red was the first guy to vote. And I was like, all right, well, he's obviously gonna vote out Riley. And then it was McCole, I think, or somebody that was older. And it was like he also voted out Riley. And then it was Jag. And I was like, all right, if Jag votes out Cameron here, I was like, we have a shot. But then once he said Riley, I immediately skipped through the rest. I was like, I don't need to see this.
With the heavy heart, skip, 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 skip. Yeah. Yeah, and then it's it's pretty. I got to give kudos to the Big Brother. They're I don't know. if I love the theme of the season. However, they've created 2 eviction nights, I'd say, that were pretty interesting for a pretty easy eviction. Like the first 2, like Kirsten was pretty much going home, and Reilly was pretty much going home all week. You know, you kind of like knew if Cameron went home, it would have been a shock and a complete shock. But they made it pretty interesting. And I don't know if it's just maybe like that house guests are just so like on edge right now. Like it seems like the more seasons go in, the more they don't act like real humans sometimes. Like they act like it's like there's something always going on. Like they're like, it's so hard when you're just paranoid the whole time. And it's like
Yeah.
I just don't see that always in the first couple seasons where they're like they're like in the they're like, I just have to wake up and go outside. Like it's become so much of a game show, you know what I mean? And that's okay because it is a game show. I don't know if I'm making sense, not making sense
No,
here.
no. I 100% see what you're saying. It's like, how often are they just chilling and hanging out, and how often are they talking game and talking strategy and like oh, what's the next move, like stuff like that, and making alliances. Like if it were me, like I would like really just enjoy like the vibe. Like it just seems
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Totally. Like I feel like I'd find like a final 2 maybe like pretty early on, and then I'd just like hang out with everybody. Like it's like, yo, we're all gonna be sick. We're all gonna be like have a fun time.
How'd you get here?
Oh snap! We gotta vote for somebody. Let's go vote.
Oh, it's time for the veto competition. No way.
I
Right now. Me?
would you lie? Like, is that like something like you're like, oh yeah, if I'm in the house, I'm of course gonna have to lie.
Definitely lying.
Yeah. Okay. Like Hisam's like, I'm telling the truth.
Oh yeah, no
You
shot.
should have lied, bro, or you should have just not said anything. Uh,
Yeah.
you know what his HOH reminds me of is do you remember Devin in season 16? I feel like it's similar in that like Devin wasn't really like target and at the beginning of his HOH, he was more or less like on the like the winning side of the house. And then by the end of it, everybody in the season, everybody hated him.
Yeah. It's like being the head of household, like it's amazing and it has all the power and like and everything. But if you play it wrong, like you're screwed.
Yeah.
Like wrong steps and you're easily the target for next week.
And it's hard to make that wrong of a move so early on in the season. Like when you have like 5 people left, okay, that's a very understandable to make the hard move. But
Yeah.
when you have literally everybody going home and it's like even if he didn't just make such a big deal about going for Reilly this week and just nominated her and was just like, hey, like you said my name, so I'm just gonna put you up. And that was all he went on and didn't egg it on anymore. Like, and Reilly stayed. Who knows? Like he still wouldn't even have been in such a tough situation. But the fact that he got who he wanted home though, but still made such a big deal, crazy.
Easiest like non-blood on your hands move is you put me up, I'm putting you up. That's like, and then don't do all the extra talking, like, and he just rough. I hope he goes home next week.
Yeah, and so if he does go home, who do you think's the next biggest threat in the house?
I maybe Siri. I feel like nobody's really like when she first came to the house, it's like, oh my god, like 4-time survivor person, like this is awesome. And like now that like people can probably start to tell like she's making relationships on this side of the house, she's making relationships on that side of the house. Like she should be good at competition. We haven't seen it yet, but like once Hisam goes home, Reilly's gone, like Siri could be the next one.
Dude, I love that you say that because I have written down, I think the duo of Siri and Felicia could get ahead of themselves and they like as a combo would be the biggest threat in the house. Just because like they pretty much said it even in the last episode. They were like, hey, whatever we want to do here is the way the vote's gonna go. And yeah, I mean, if you just see them two, they seem like besties. Also, does Felicia know that Jared is
I think so.
because
Yeah, their Siri did say the one thing. It was like, well, we have Izzy or we have
Yeah.
Jared. It's like,
Yeah, and that made me be like, you shouldn't be telling everybody this, even though I don't think Felicia and Siri would ever go against each other. Like,
yeah,
there's nothing in this thing where they wouldn't vote the same way. So I don't think it's the end of the world that he told her, but like, it is so weird how Siri just like tells her like, "Hey, we got Jared's vote." Like,
yeah,
and it's also hilarious when like Reilly, like, oh my
yeah.
god, I had no idea, but we found out that Blue and Jared are hooking up.
Go.
Love that. That is
Yeah,
so funny that that's like Julie's like, what do you think the relationship in the house is? And it's like, hook it up.
yeah,
Nobody even has an idea that like they're related.
yeah. Like that's crazy. And like it was also funny when the conversation between it was like Corey, Jag, and America. It was like you guys would have the worst showman's name. It was like Jamaica or like
Yeah, J Matt. or Amag.
yeah,
Amag. Yeah. But dude, Jag might have a crush on America, understandably so.
I
But he
would
was
for my country for her.
yeah, America for America. Yeah. Yeah. Uh so yeah, I mean, where do you like okay, I guess what I like okay, so I have an alliance prediction of who could maybe like be a sick alliance down the road. Because I do think that both sides of the house, once Hisam goes, are gonna be kind of like a little bit back together.
Yeah.
And I think that uh Siri, Felicia, Blue, Jared, Izzy, and Corey would be a pretty like solid alliance. I think if Jared and Blue are actually like hooking up and they're getting really close, Jared,
Yeah.
of course, and Siri and Felicia and Izzy will all be there. And Corey, what Corey showed us with the America conversation and then going right to them is that he is totally cool with having that alliance. And I think they like Corey too. Like even when like they were doing like the subtle like, oh, Corey's like, maybe I am buff. And like Felicia was like, no, you're not. And then I think maybe Jag and McCole could be in that alliance as well. I don't know where like McCole like if she's like all in on like that group of people. And I think Jag is just the type of person where like he's just like a smart competitor, and I think that's what they're missing, or a strong competitor. And I think outside of Jared, I think that's kind of what they're missing in that alliance. But yeah, like where do you think the house goes? Like, do you
Hey,
think it's an automatic Heisem vote out this week?
it has to be. Like I think regardless of who wins it, like now that Riley's gone, I think the one side versus one side is gonna be pretty much done for. And I think one alliance is gonna be revolving around Cameron, Red, and others. I think Cameron and Red are definitely gonna team up. And then I want to see Jared and Siri in the same alliance. That would be sick. So if we can get like a Cameron, Red, Jared, Siri, Blue, Jag type thing.
Mm.
But I don't know.
Felicia, though, no, do you think that she would be in an alliance without Felicia, but also Felicia know about the alliance? Like, that's a very real possibility where they're like, hey, Siri, we want you in here. But, like, do they also, like, hey, we know you're working with Felicia? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, and then also like with Izzy too.
Yeah.
Like gonna tell Izzy. Like
Mm, yeah. There's no, like, after Riley's reaction, I feel like there's no chance anybody knows unless Izzy tells everyone.
tells everyone, which I feel like is gonna happen at some point, and it's gonna be
Yeah. Yeah.
like Izzy's last chance is like I know something in this house that nobody else knows. And
Dude.
yeah,
Like they're like you have to imagine Jared and Siri are just like, yeah, we're thinking about that later on. Like it's like they could literally stay up all night long thinking about how rough of a situation it is that Izzy knows. But they probably just have to be like, we don't have to worry about it right now.
of course that's gonna get there.
Yeah. Anything that you want to talk about moving forward or predictions that we didn't talk about?
I just feel like the this head of household is gonna be like I mean, it's easy to say like every next head of household is the most important one. So like, because that's like pretty obvious. but
Mhm.
this one like has, I think, like final like finale implications. Um, this is where we're going to see like the new alliances be formed and new final twos and stuff. And so I'm interested to see which side of the house is going to win this head of household and if somebody's going to take that shot on Hisam.
Now, if you win HOH, are you automatically going voting out Hisam? I know you said that's what like you think will happen, but would you personally do that?
I would want to take out Hisam, especially if I was in the younger crowd. I think if I was them, I would I'd put up red and I'd put up Bowie and then expect one of them to win the power veto and then backdoor Hisam
Mm-hmm.
would be my plan.
Yeah, you definitely don't want Hisam in the power.
Yeah, you not if you put him in the power veto, he's gonna win it.
Yeah. Part of me also thinks that it's like I always would go with like, okay, Hisam's gonna go next week, so maybe I'll go with somebody else this week.
Yeah.
But you do get a lot of people are gonna like you if you vote out Hisam this week, and it's just like an easy way of getting no blood on your hands.
I
And
would
you don't
even
need to
throw
get
one.
blood on your hands on week 3. What'd you say?
I would even throw one of my alliance members up there, and be like, just win this competition, and you're coming down, no problem.
Yeah.
Like you're not the target, but I
Mhm.
already says that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
Hisam, put
and then
you on the block. You're not the target.
yeah. Don't win though.
Just throw the competition.
And then every time like you have the pawn conversation, it's the classic diary room shot of them being like, that's what everybody said. So in the end, I gotta save myself.
It's like nobody. The pawn always goes home. It's like, oh my gosh.
The only one who can save me now is me.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I am it is interesting because like we keep saying, it's pretty straightforward. Like Hisam's got to go home, but like, you bring up a good point because I honestly always think of it like I think this week is actually like before you brought that up, I would be like this week is like the least important HOH week because it doesn't matter who wins, he's going home. But especially this early on in the season, it's not always about who's going home. It's about who like how they move forward alliance wise. And it's almost like winning the first HOH in terms of like you have people who are probably going to come to you and be like, hey, now that
Yeah.
we're kind of starting from square one, let's kind of like move forward and see how we do this.
Yeah.
I think Jared totally should win HOH for his game and vote out Hisam. And I don't think that would be hard because I think Izzy would be, or I think Siri would be like, yo, Hisam's throwing around your name. Like, you got to vote for him out. And I think everybody on our side would back you up. And I think then he would also win over the respect of like Jag and all those people who I wouldn't blame them if they're like, Jared, I don't know what your intentions are, even though they always group him into their alliance. But like, he never had to answer. He just kept being like, trust me, trust me, trust me, trust me, and like never had to answer for it. I really have no idea how the younger group feels with Jared.
Yeah. It's because I'm sure they can kind of like sense that, like, oh, he is really close with Siri. Like,
Yeah. But then again, Reilly had no idea.
yeah.
You give Reilly a million guesses, she might never have guessed the combination that Jared and Siri are son and mother.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah. I have my power rankings, updated power rankings.
Oh yeah. Let's there.
Dude, after putting Hisam at number 1 last week, he comes in at the bottom.
Ow.
What a jump. See, I feel like my power rankings, it's really just like it's hard to have like a strict like this is what the power rankings mean. Cause like
Yeah.
while I had Hisam and Reilly at 1 and 2 last week, like the I also had the understanding of if one wins, the other one's probably going home. You know what I mean? Like so it's hard like in these power rankings, like it's not necessarily who I think will go home next, even though I do have that argument sometimes. It's more who I think's playing the best game right now.
Yeah.
Even though like at the time you can make the argument Reilly was not playing the best game, even though I think she was, but you can definitely make the argument she wasn't just because she made such a threat of herself. But in last, you got Luke, then Kirsten, then Reilly. Then you got Hisam at 17, 16, 15, 14. I got Bowie Jane at 13. I mean, she did that one cool thing, but I still think that she literally,
Yeah.
like, even if she gets the final three, she's going. Like, there's no chance she wins this game. I have no faith in her to win this game. Um,
Clip.
yeah, dang, bro. Number 12, we got Matt. Um, yeah, I just think of him as being
I've got my faith in him.
he's such an appearance of a threat that
Yeah.
I think he'll always have a threat against him. And it's like if somebody on the other side goes wins, I could see even though Hisam didn't throw out Matt's name, he threw out Jared and Blue. I'm pretty sure when they had their meeting, Matt wasn't a guy who people
Yeah.
thought to nominate. However, he did also just lose Reilly.
Yeah.
And I just feel like if I was to vote, if I was in the professors and voting against the younger people, Matt is someone I'm looking at to go home, possibly. After that, I got America. She seems like she's cool too, but she's just on one side of the house still. I don't see her having so many relationships, and she doesn't seem like she's been close to winning an HOH, that's for sure, or a competition. McCole is next, more or less just because I feel like is on the safer side of the house. But she's also at the bottom of that side because it's or I guess Bowie Jane was at the bottom, but she's got both, she's on the better side of the house, but what has she done lately for me?
Yeah.
I forgot she was on TV on the show. Then I got Cameron. More or less, he's just low here because he's already been nominated, so he's an easy person to nominate again. He also, I feel but I have a lot of respect for Cameron, so I don't know, him being here has any effect on anything. I feel like he's a pretty decent game player.
Yeah. I think I like Cameron. I think he has a good shot moving forward. Especially once they take down Hisam and they start fresh. I feel like he's going to be part of a valuable foundation.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, especially because he has someone like Red in his corner too. And when you look at Red and Cameron, you kind of just see someone who's just innocent, more or less, someone who's not going to be cutthroat here. After Cameron, I got Blue. Really just she's making some good relationships. She is on the lower part of the house. She doesn't seem like she's winning a comp anytime soon, but she also seems like she has made such a great social game where it's she should be good. But she could very easily be a pawn for the other side. I could see them being we just don't want you to have a vote in this vote. Siri, then next I have more or less because I think she has to be looked at, like you said, as one of the bigger threats in the house, but she's also more or less running the house right now. So then I got Izzy right above her. More pretty much just because I don't know. I really don't know where to put Izzy because her relationship in the house is so weird.
I think she's going to overplay at some point. I feel like she kind of already has, but she's going to do something like Reilly did or like Hisam did where they just too much.
Her downfall is if she wins HOH. She can't win HOH. But then is there a way Izzy goes home and Siri and Jared's relationship is still kept a secret?
No chance. No shot.
No shot that happens. Okay, so then, yeah, I got to put Izzy here, but it'll be weird because I always thought that I would need to put Izzy above Jared too, but Jared, nobody. Okay, Red at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Red's at 5th. I kind of I don't know why I put him here, just because I don't think he's very similar to a McCole, where he's on the bigger side of the house and nobody's looking at him like a major threat. But I just think that he is one. I think he is pretty good. I think it's crazy how people were if he wins, he can take Cameron down. And that was so public, even for the professors to be yeah, we're that we're not even batting an eye at that possibility. You know what I mean? Hisam would have wanted Red to be in the power of veto.
Yeah.
Then after Red, I got Corey. Corey in the last week has made incredible jumps. I feel relationship wise, nobody wants Corey to go home. In terms of like, nobody's like, we need to send Corey home because he's coming for me. You know what I mean? Or we need to send Corey home because he's backstabbing. None of that. He's kind of just like playing a good game right now, playing a good social game. It's also only week 2, so it's really hard to blow up your game, especially when you have 2 evictions that are pretty straightforward. At number 3, I got Felicia. I think I had her at 3 or 4 last week too. She's playing a sick game, and I don't think anybody's going for her anytime soon.
I think people are gonna look at Felicia like I don't know if she'll be able to come for me.
Mm-hmm.
Such a sweet woman that it's like, let's just keep her in the house because she's sick.
And I think she should do that. I don't think she should win an HOH anytime soon. Maybe win a power of veto if you can, but in reality, it's like control the house as long as you can without winning HOH. And then when there's only 8 people left, then start racking up your HOH wins. Then at number 2, I have Jag. He made it seem like he's cool with Hisam, and when you're cool with Hisam, that means you're pretty much cool with everybody in the house. So I feel like Jag's here too, because he's like, I want to be his best friend. I don't know.
So sick.
Jared at number 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just couldn't think of anybody in a better position right now. If you take out the fact that he and his mom are in the house and Izzy knows it, he is literally playing on every side, with everybody. And everybody's just like the fact that nobody questions him being taking Jag down, boggles my mind. It's not like he can just easily be like, hey, no, I thought you were going to go home. No one thought Jag was going to go home on Hisam's HOH. Clearly Izzy can blow up him in series game. And clearly
taking time.
But nobody's done it. Nobody's found them out. And I just don't think, and I want to be clearly Jared, the younger people are going to be like, Jared, you're working with the other side. But they didn't do that. So I just don't know how Jared goes home anytime soon, to be honest.
I think the only way that he goes home soon is if people learn the secret.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I really want him to win a head of household this week. I just
he might not. He should win head of household. Actually, we said this. He should win head of household this week for his game. That would be good. But he does have to pay attention down the line because he is a threat right now. He came in second last week and had power in the house. Even though it wasn't HOH power, people notice oh my gosh, Jared's got another week of some sort of power. He's got another week of being able to do what he wants. That could be some threat down the line, but he's got a good group around him right now.
If you were in the house, would you bring a notebook and a piece of paper and write down everything that happens on every day?
Well, you can't.
You can't?
You can't have any writing and no paper. There's no paper. You'll never see someone in the house writing down unless it's a competition. I didn't realize that, but it makes sense because they don't want Houseguests passing notes and doing stuff that wouldn't go on camera. Because if somebody passes a note, you can't see, the viewer doesn't see what it says, but that could be a really big thing,
Yeah.
Especially I think they also like the fact that if somebody's sleeping and 2 people are whispering, they can blow it by hearing them. But yeah, no, you can't. I was just thinking that not even strategy wise, but it's bro, there's nothing to do in the house. You can't watch TV, you can't read, write, do anything like that.
I would just literally spend the entire day in the pool, in the hot tub, on the hammock.
Yeah. Exactly. They better have spike ball,
bro.
They don't have spike ball, but they should have spike ball.
We'll be there soon, and then we're gonna take over the house.
Dude, they have no game. Exactly, bro. Exactly. They have no activities in the backyard. No can jam or anything.
Is there a football you could throw around?
I don't even remember really. It's the game is just just talk.
Yeah.
What is this do? Talk to people. Talk.
Don't do anything else.
You can sleep sometimes.
Yeah. But you got this ton of cheese, and that's gonna lead to you getting kicked out of the house.
Oh, dude, he was like, I gotta find something to blame here. The cheese bed.
Jeez.
Oh, I guess it looks uncomfortable. Oh, all right. Well, I feel like that's it.
Yeah, I feel like we covered everything that there is to know in this last week.
Another killer episode. Guys, if you're watching on YouTube, you can also watch on Spotify. Listen on Spotify or not yet?
Yeah.
Not yet?
Yeah.
Okay, so you are only watching on YouTube. You see our sick logo. Shout out Trent Freeman for making that one for us. I think we're gonna try to come up with like a little intro moving forward, dude. Every podcast, every episode, it's gonna be bigger and better. So, yeah,
Dude, like this is as bland and as basic as it gets.
yeah,
It
maybe. When you can it can be bland when you got popping personalities like us.
acts.
Alrighty. Well, yeah. So comment what you think below. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Peace out.
Should I do it
Oh
now?
wait, we ended too early. I cut Matt off. My bad.
Love one another.